Uncle Tony had asked him to kill somebody, and it was an order he didn't want to do. A very wealthy family had a baby kidnapped. They had found the main person. I think she was 17. The nanny's arrested, and Uncle Tony calls my dad and he tells him, "Hey, she's the one that brought the baby out of the house. You know what you got to do, Roberto? I want you to go to jail and you give the order for this girl to be killed." And my dad says, hold on, Tony, hold on. Let me go talk to her." So my dad goes and talks to this woman, to this girl. He comes back and he says, "Tony, listen, this girl was just a stupid girl. She got swept up by this guy's rhetoric. 25 years in prison. She's gonna come out. She's gonna be, 45 years old, 44 years old. Like, it's enough. It's enough punishment. You don't have to kill her." And Uncle Tony, I remember this. Like, Dad said, "We all have our skeletons in the closet." This is Uncle Tony. We all have our skeletons in the closet. It's time that make yours. And now's the time. And my dad says, "Fuck you, Tony. I'm out of here." Nick, you got to get how unusual this is. You don't say no to your commanding officer. This is a commanding officer who had already ordered decapitations of people and torture of people, and whose business partner was Pablo Escobar. It. I can't even imagine what it would have been to say no to him. And that is what drives that wedge between them. And they killed her. They killed the woman. It came out in the news she had committed suicide, but everybody knew what happened. And a couple of months later, then my dad comes out on national television. By the next day, it was CNN, Newsweek, Times. Every major publication was there listening to my dad tell the world that, yes, he knew, Uncle Tony had rigged the elections, ordered people killed, was dealing drugs. I mean, it blew up. Panama stopped after those, like, the whole country came out. There was like paralysis.
When you see that, what goes through your mind?
I was so, at 15, you just don't know much. And so I was like, what was in my head was like, okay, how am I going to, this is a lot of things going on here. Like, how am I going to finish my finals? Like, I was worried about my final grades for ninth grade. And then he tells me shortly after he did that, he's like, "Oh, you're not going back to school." We then stayed in self-imposed house arrest because it was too dangerous to be outside.
For how long?
Wow. Like 2.5 months, something like that. We were inside my dad's bunker. So big, huge, tall walls, and we had about 40 armed men between bodyguards who stayed and cousins of ours that came and said, "Well, we'll help you protect yourself, and we believe in trying to get Uncle Tony down from the government, out." Then they know for sure that he was sent there to kill my dad. They start to torture him and hang him upside down and use him like a human piñata. Huh? Are you man enough to step up and defend your dad? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, then punch him. When they send this guy to kill my dad, he comes in and he says he wants to join us. So initially, they pat him to see if he wasn't carrying any weapons, and they don't catch anything. And then when he really starts to see the head of security that something's amiss, he strips him and he finds a shiv, like a prison shiv, in stuck right by his groin. And so then they know for sure that he was sent there to kill my dad. But just to make sure, they start to torture him. So they began by hanging him upside down in the backyard. My dad's asleep at this point, by the way. He's not, he doesn't know anything about.
How do you find out about this? Are you there?
Oh, I'm there.
So you're watching
I'm,
this.
I'm okay. Not only watching it, but so they tie him up and they tie him up by their feet and hang him upside down and use him like a human pinata. Just start beating him. He loses all his front teeth from this beating. Then they put him in a chair and start throwing him in the pool and pulling him out as he's about to drown. And at one point, the head of security tells me, he's like, he came here to kill your dad. What are you gonna do, Robertito? They used to call me Robertito, which was little Roberto. They're like, what are you gonna do, Robertito? Huh? Are you man enough to step up and defend your dad? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, okay, then punch him. And so I grabbed my gun and I hit him in the back of his head. And all the bodyguards start laughing. They're like, ah, ah, oh my God, you are such a little bitch, Rortito. That's not how you hit a guy. This is how you hit a guy. And he grabs his gun and he hits him right in the ear. And his ear starts to bleed from the inside. Like it just starts gushing blood here. Anyways, that was my first lesson on how to torture somebody
Nice.
at age 15.
At age 15.
At age 15.